Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of So How About Them Leafs? So, stands like this. The Leafs lose 8-0 to the Florida Panthers, a 13th place team, of course only a couple points out of 3rd place, which a user pointed out to me before in my last video. But the Leafs somehow managed to beat the Montreal Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings. Montreal Canadiens at that time were only 1 point behind the Ottawa Senators for first in the Eastern Conference, and the Detroit Red Wings first overall in the NHL. How does this happen, you ask? Well, I thought about it for a little bit, and I thought, well, hold on. Maybe these teams are, kind of playing down. It's like, oh, it's the Leafs, it's an easy win. Then I thought, hold on, the Leafs beat Ottawa too the previous Saturday. They're the Battle of Ontario, it's a huge rivalry there. Then you have Toronto and Montreal. There's a huge rivalry there. Montreal is going to want to kick Toronto's ass as much as possible. And you have Detroit and another Original Six rivalry. So you can say what you want. Say, oh, well, Ottawa, there's the issues with Ray Emery. And then Alfredson was injured. And da-da-da-da-da. And then with Detroit, you can say, oh, well, Hasek wasn't playing to his full potential. Still, say what you want. Fact is, the Leafs beat some of the top teams in the NHL. There's no denying that. Now, how does this do for their hopes of, well, they hope to make the playoffs, but as hopeful at least get a good draft pick. I don't want them to make the playoffs. What does this do for them? Well, they're still in 14th, and they're 6 points out of the playoffs, so that means they still can make the playoffs. They are still in this. They're not out. Sure, it'd be great to see the Leafs make the playoffs and, be out in the first round and then get a crappy draft pick and then not do anything, and then we have to deal with this for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I think I'd rather them take one more year out of the playoffs, get a good draft pick, sell a couple of their players, hopefully get some good players back, or some other players, draft picks, whatever. Somehow, just make it, or just make a good pick. And I know that's what Cliff Fletcher wants to do, is he has made it public that the Leafs are going to be sellers come trade deadline time on the 27th, I think. Yes, or sorry, 26th. So that's a couple weeks from now. 2 weeks tomorrow. Of course, I will have another kind of trade deadline edition version of this, but we'll worry about that later. So the Leafs are still 6 points out of the playoffs. They're still in 14th place, and the next game is Wednesday against Buffalo. And then they have the Islanders and they have the Bruins. All 3 games they can potentially win. Games we don't want them to win. Or at least I don't, and many other select few don't. So whether or not I don't know what to say. This team is just one of the most confusing teams I've ever watched play hockey. They can't beat the crappy teams, but they can beat the top teams in the NHL. Well, that's my little blurb for tonight, and we'll talk to you probably next. The the game against the Sabres and the game against the Islanders.